marathon training program will be tailored as to whether you are a beginner, intermediate or advanced. The most important run of your training week will be the Sunday long run. The Sunday long run is you going out and completing a certain amount of kilometres and being able to come back and say that you comfortably were able to do it. It's not about going out there and running the race pace. We use a 25% rule. It's you completing the distance comfortably and having confidence in knowing that come race day in 16 weeks' time, you can complete the marathon. As a beginner coming into the marathon, there's so much unknown as to whether you can complete the journey, whether you have enough confidence to be able to get to the finish line. Our job is to make sure that we can give you that confidence. Your objective through your training week is just to complete the training. You don't have to think outside the square and complicate things, because as soon as you do, you're going to become injured. Some people that start running having done nothing for 25 years and they start running, they go too hard early, then they break down with injuries. So follow the training program as adequately as possible, listen to your body, and this is all getting you ready for your marathon in 16 weeks' time. The most important part of your training program will be your Sunday run. That will be the run that will give you the confidence in knowing that you can complete the marathon. It is also the run that will help strengthen you. It'll give your body more fluency. It is also the one where we will gauge really where you're at with your marathon. Now, being a first-time marathon, it's very, very hard to put a time goal that you would like to achieve. Your main priority is to finish the marathon, as you have probably done no running beforehand till you get to this point. So on Sunday, make sure that you do the distance that's specified and you stick to what we call a 25% rule. And that is that you run 25% as a minimum slower than what your race pace is. So you'll probably be able to run around about 8, 9 or 10 minute mile pace. Make sure that you run 25% slower per mile for the duration of the run that's set for you on the Sunday. Before you go out and run, it's always good to eat some food or to have a drink well in advance of doing that run to give you some fuel. Your body is like a car. Your car won't go anywhere unless it's got gasoline in it. So treat your body the same and make sure that it is well hydrated and you have enough food in there to be able to give you the energy to complete your run. Eating something 2 to 3 hours before your run is adequate, but make sure that you don't eat big wholesome foods, because all they're going to do is sit in your stomach and give you an upset stomach. Stay away from sugary products, cereals, drinks, carbonated drinks. By having them, they're going to give you a high glycemic index, which means that you'll be wired for sound and bouncing from wall to wall, and then half an hour after you start your long run, you're going to completely drop and your blood sugar levels are going to be at an all-time low, which will lead to fatigue and tiredness and you not being able to complete your run. There's no one right way for everybody. You have to experiment and find what you're comfortable with, what your body can tolerate, and what you get right is what you will use on race day. Don't be scared to push the boundaries a little bit with what you can have. Maybe you might have 2 or 3 pieces of toast. Someone else might only be able to have 1 piece of bread. It's you finding that happy medium in order to store the body up, get the energy into your body, and then being able to go out and complete your long run. Being your long run on the Sunday, it would be wise to get up and do a little bit of stretching before you go out and do your long run. But the important thing to remember is your long run isn't a race and it isn't a threshold run, so you shouldn't be putting a lot of stress and strain on your body as soon as you get out the door. I like to actually start off a lot slower for the first 2 or 3 kilometres in my run to allow my body to warm up before I complete the rest of my 30-kilometre journey on my Sunday run. This gives me a chance to unwind, get my muscles all warmed up before I start to get quicker. Some people like to actually stretch for 10 to 15 minutes beforehand to help get their body moving from having a long sleep or whatever they've done the night before. This is a point for you again to experiment and find out what you're comfortable with. A lot of elite guys do not go out there and spend hours of stretching and warming up before they do their long run. They listen to their body and they tailor in everything that's required in order for them to complete their training journey. After your run, the most important thing for you to do is to actually try and get some carbs and potassium back into your body The recovery process should be done within the first 30 minutes of you completing your run. Getting sports drink into you that are high in sodium will help replace electrolytes that you have replenished while you've been out there running for 2, 3, 3.5 hours. Potassium in bananas are a great source of being able to recover the body. People like to take ice baths. A great way is to be able to get a little bin, fill it up with some ice and some cold water, and stand in that for about 10 or 15 minutes just to allow the body to recover so that there's no soreness or inflammation around the calf, ankle and knee joints. Again, this is where you need to experiment with how well you are handling your training.